And so the sorrowful mysteries of the Rosary help us to say, I'm sorry to the Lord. Because as soon as suffering enters into our life, I think a great clarity comes upon us. We're able to see things for what they are. We're able to recognize things that we didn't really notice before. Now, they're not all pleasant things, but we have to see those things too. And when we see them, there can be contrition, a recognition that we're at fault for what happened, to tell the Lord we're sorry for what we've done. Suffering is not an end in itself, but it's a means to something greater. Sometimes I think it's just a way to get our attention. Because if not, we just go on all the time doing our own little thing. Think about the parable of the prodigal son in the 15th chapter of the Gospel of St. Luke. There's one beautiful verse in the RSV translation. The prodigal son's off in the foreign land. He spent all his money on loose living, as the translation goes. He's feeding the pigs, longing to fill his belly with what he's feeding them. And the Gospel of St. Luke has this beautiful phrase. It says, he came to himself. He came to himself. Another translation says he came to his senses. That's true too. We just mean that by the fact he finally saw things as they were. But I like that expression, he came to himself. Finally, he was meeting himself for the first time. All the suffering he'd been through helped him realize what was really true in his life. A great French playwright by the name of Paul Claudel said, Jesus did not come to take away suffering, but to fill it with his presence. That's difficult to hear when we're not in suffering, but when we do suffer through something, it's the most comforting thing we could imagine. Jesus did not come to take away suffering, but to fill it with his presence. The effects of suffering can never really be overemphasized in the life of someone who believes.